Hey everyone, Elizabeth here. The last laugh delivers stories that leave you speechless. If you're here for it, hit subscribe and let's go. My name is Natalie Brooks, and I'm 29 years old. I work as a night shift emergency room nurse at Metro General Hospital in downtown Chicago. My schedule is brutal, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., for nights a week, but I love what I do. I live alone in a luxury high-rise apartment building called the Paramount, 22 floors of modern condos with all the amenities, gym, pool, concierge service, and 24-hour security. That security is why I chose the Paramount. As a single woman working night shifts, coming home alone at dawn, I needed to feel safe. The building had keycard access, security cameras on every floor, and guards monitoring the lobby around the clock. I trusted that security completely. Until the night it almost got me killed. Thursday night, technically Friday morning, had been chaos at the ER. A multi-car pileup on the expressway brought in 7 critical patients within 20 minutes. I'd spent hours in trauma rooms, covered in blood, holding pressure on wounds, starting IVs, doing everything possible to save lives. We'd lost 1 patient. Saved 6. The emotional whiplash left me drained. I clocked out at 7:14 a.m., exhausted to my bones. My scrubs were stained despite my protective gown. My feet ached. All I wanted was my apartment, a hot shower, and my bed. I was 3 blocks from home when my phone rang. The screen showed Marcus Security. Marcus Washington was the night security guard at the Paramount, a former Marine in his 50s who took his job seriously. He knew all the residents by name, always had a kind word, and made everyone feel protected. But he never called residents. Ever. I answered, putting it on speaker as I drove. Marcus? Is everything okay? Natalie. His voice was low, urgent. Where are you right now? About 3 blocks from home. Why? What's wrong? Listen to me very carefully. Do not come to the building. Park somewhere else. A different street, a parking garage, anywhere but here. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. Marcus, what are you talking about? I just worked a double shift. I'm exhausted. I need to get home. I know, and I'm sorry, but you need to trust me on this. Just for now. Park somewhere else and stay in your car. Fear crept into my chest. You're scaring me. What's happening? Is there a fire? A gas leak? No. Nothing like that. But I need you to not come home right now. That's not good enough. Tell me what's going on or I'm coming up. There was a pause, then Marcus's voice dropped to barely above a whisper. Someone disabled your door camera an hour ago. I've been watching the feeds, and someone went to your apartment and covered your camera with something. I can't see your doorway anymore. My blood went cold. What? Why would someone do that? I don't know, but it's not normal. And Natalie. I saw someone enter the stairwell on your floor about 40 minutes ago. They haven't left. The stairwell camera shows them going in, but I never saw them come back out. Maybe they went to a different floor? The stairwell only accesses floors 20 to 24. Your floor. And I've been watching. No one's come out. I pulled over abruptly, parking on a side street, my heart hammering. Are you saying someone's on my floor? Near my apartment? I think someone might be waiting for you. I don't know who or why, but something's not right. I was about to call the police when I saw you were almost here on the parking garage camera. I had to warn you first. Oh my God. Marcus, who would? I don't understand. Neither do I. But I've worked security for 15 years. And my gut's screaming that something's wrong. Have you had any issues lately? Anyone bothering you? An ex, a patient, anyone? I tried to think through my exhaustion and rising panic. No. I mean, I had a patient's family member get angry at me last month because we couldn't save their father, but that was weeks ago. There's no one, wait. A memory surfaced. 2 weeks ago, a patient had been brought in after a drug overdose. He'd survived, but during his recovery, he'd become fixated on me. Asked me personal questions. Tried to get my number. I'd reported it to hospital security, and he'd been discharged 3 days later with warnings about appropriate behavior. I'd forgotten about it until now. There was a patient, I said slowly. He became obsessed, I guess. Asked where I lived, when I got off work. Hospital security handled it, and I haven't seen him since. His name was Kyle. Kyle Hendricks. When was this? 2 weeks ago. Maybe 10 days. Did he make threats? Not explicit ones. But he was intense. Too intense. He said things like, I'll find you, and we're meant to be together. The hospital banned him from returning, but I don't know if anyone followed up. Marcus was quiet for a moment. Natalie, I'm calling the police right now. Stay where you are. Do not come to this building. What kind of car does this Kyle drive? I don't know. I never saw him outside the hospital. Okay. Stay on the line with me. I'm calling 911 on the security desk phone. Before we go further, make sure you subscribe to the channel and comment where you're watching from. I sat in my car on the empty side street, hands shaking, listening to Marcus report the situation to 911. The sun was rising, casting golden light across the buildings, making everything look normal and safe. But I knew someone might be waiting for me in my building, near my apartment, for reasons I couldn't fully understand. Police are on their way, Marcus said, back on my phone. ETA is 6 minutes. They're sending 2 units. I'm going to keep watching the cameras. If I see any movement, I'll let you know. What if this is nothing? What if I'm overreacting? Even as I said it, I didn't believe it. Marcus wasn't the type to panic over nothing. Then we apologize to the police and everyone goes home. But Natalie, I've been watching your door camera every night when you come home. I know it's supposed to show your doorway. Right now it's showing black. Someone deliberately covered it. That's not nothing. He was right. I'd installed that camera myself 6 months ago, a Ring doorbell camera that let me see who was at my door. It was always working, always recording. If someone had covered it. Marcus, can you see the hallway camera? The main one for the 22nd floor? Yeah, I can see it. Your hallway looks clear. No one visible. But the stairwell door is about 30 feet from your apartment, out of the hallway camera's view. Someone could be in the stairwell still. What about the parking garage? Can you see if there are any unfamiliar cars? I heard typing. Looking now. There's a gray Nissan Altima in a visitor spot that I don't recognize. Been there since, about 2:30 a.m. No one's in it that I can see. My stomach nodded. Someone had arrived at 2:30, gone to my floor, disabled my camera, and was possibly still there. Waiting for me to come home at my usual time, around 7:30 a.m., like I did every Friday morning. They knew my schedule. Police are pulling up now, Marcus said. I heard the relief in his voice. 2 squad cars. I'm going to brief them. Stay where you are, okay? Don't move until I tell you it's safe. Okay. Thank you, Marcus. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't called. That's what I'm here for. Protecting residents. Even if it turns out to be paranoia, better safe than sorry. The next 20 minutes felt like hours. I sat in my car, watching people leave for work, parents walking kids to school, the city waking up around me. Everything looked normal. But I knew that a few blocks away, police were searching my building for someone who might want to hurt me. Marcus called back. Natalie, officers are on your floor now. They're approaching your apartment, okay, they're at your door. They're checking the stairwell first. I held my breath, pressing phone to my ear so hard it hurt. They found someone. Marcus's voice was tight. Male, 20s, hiding in the stairwell between floors 22 and 23. They're detaining him now. They're asking him for ID. Is it Kyle? Hold on, yes. Officers just confirmed. Kyle Hendricks, 26 years old. Natalie, he had a key. He was holding a key that fits apartment locks in this building. My vision blurred with tears of fear and relief and rage. How? How did he get a key to my apartment? I don't know. But there's more. Officers searched him. He had zip ties, duct tape, and a knife. Natalie, this wasn't a misunderstanding. This was planned. I started shaking uncontrollably. Zip ties. Duct tape. A knife. He'd been waiting for me to come home so he could. I couldn't finish the thought. Officers want to talk to you, Marcus continued. Can you come to the building now? They're taking him into custody, but they need your statement. Is it safe? Yes. He's in handcuffs in a squad car. Your floor is clear. Your apartment is clear, officers checked it. But Natalie, he'd been inside your apartment. The shaking got worse. What? Your door was unlocked when officers tried it. They cleared the apartment, no one else is there, but it looks like he'd gone in earlier. There are signs. Things moved around. Officers need you to identify if anything's missing or disturbed. I drove to the Paramount on autopilot, my mind reeling. Kyle had been inside my apartment. My private space. He'd touched my things, looked through my life, and then waited in the stairwell with zip ties and a knife for me to come home. If Marcus hadn't been watching the cameras. If he hadn't noticed the disabled doorbell. If he hadn't trusted his instincts and called me. I parked in the garage and took the elevator to the lobby, where Marcus was waiting with 2 police officers. He looked older somehow, the stress of the last hour written on his face. Natalie. He gripped my shoulder. Thank God you listened to me. Saved my life, I said, my voice breaking. One of the officers, a woman in her 40s named Detective Lisa Chen, stepped forward. Ms. Brooks, I'm Detective Chen. We need to ask you some questions about Kyle Hendricks and your relationship with him. There's no relationship. He was a patient. That's all. Can you tell me about your interactions with him? We sat in the lobby, and I told her everything. The overdose. His recovery. His increasingly inappropriate questions and comments. The way he'd stared at me. The things he'd said. My report to hospital security. The ban on his returning. Did you ever tell him where you lived? Chen asked. Never. I never gave him any personal information. Did he ever see your employee badge? Did it have your last name? I thought back. Yes. My badge has my full name and my department. That would have been enough. A quick social media search, public records, he could have found your address easily if he had your full name. But the key? How did he get a key to my apartment? Chen exchanged glances with her partner. We're investigating that. It's possible he obtained one through deceptive means, claiming to be a relative, a boyfriend, a maintenance worker. We see it more often than you'd think. We'll be interviewing building management and the company that handles your locks. Marcus spoke up. I should have caught this. I should have noticed him coming and going. You did catch it, I said. You noticed the camera was disabled. You saw him on the stairwell feed. You called me. Marcus, you did everything right. Detective Chen nodded. Mr. Washington, your vigilance prevented a serious crime tonight. Your attention to detail and quick thinking likely saved Ms. Brooks's life. We went up to my apartment with the officers. The door was still unlocked, just as they'd found it. Inside, everything looked normal at first glance. But then I started noticing small things out of place. My laptop, usually centered on my desk, was shifted to the left. My bedroom closet door was open, I always closed it. A photo frame on my nightstand was turned at a different angle. My jewelry box had been opened, though nothing seemed to be missing. He was looking through your things, Chen said quietly. Learning about you. This is consistent with obsessive behavior. He was building a fantasy relationship in his mind. In my bathroom, I found something that made my stomach turn. My prescription bottles had been moved. He'd gone through my medicine cabinet, reading my prescriptions, my medical history. The intimacy of that violation made me feel sick. We'll need to photograph everything, Chen said. And we'll need you to make a list of anything that seems disturbed or missing. This is a crime scene now. Over the next several hours, I gave statements to multiple officers. I learned that Kyle Hendricks had a history, restraining orders from 2 other women, both healthcare workers he'd met during hospital stays. He'd been arrested before for stalking but had served minimal jail time. The system had failed to stop him, and I'd nearly become his next victim. The evidence against him was overwhelming. Security footage showed him entering the building at 2:27 a.m., using a keycard he obtained by following a resident through the door and claiming he'd forgotten his card. He disabled my doorbell camera at 2:41 a.m. He'd entered my apartment. The unlocked door suggested he had a key or had picked the lock. He'd spent approximately 30 minutes inside before positioning himself in the stairwell to wait. He knew your schedule, Detective Chen explained. He'd probably been watching you for days, maybe weeks. He knew you came home around 7:30 on Friday mornings. He planned this carefully. What would have happened if I'd come home? I asked, though I already knew. Chen's expression was grave. Based on the items he had with him, the restraints, the weapon, we believe he intended to abduct you or harm you in your apartment. The fact that your security guard intervened. Ms. Brooks, you're very lucky. Before we go further, make sure you've subscribed and told us where you're watching from in the comments. Kyle Hendricks was charged with breaking and entering, stalking, possession of burglary tools, and attempted kidnapping. His bail was set high enough that he couldn't make it. He'd remain in jail until trial. I couldn't stay in my apartment that night, or any night that week. The thought of sleeping in the bed he'd stood next to, using the bathroom he'd searched through, sitting on the couch he'd touched, it was too much. I stayed with my best friend Rachel, a fellow nurse who lived across town. The building management was horrified and apologetic. They changed all the locks in my apartment, installed additional security cameras in the stairwell, and implemented new protocols for visitor access. But the damage was done. I didn't feel safe there anymore. Marcus visited me at Rachel's apartment 3 days after the incident. He looked tired, guilty. I keep thinking about what could have happened, he said. If I'd been on a break when he went up. If I'd been looking at different camera feeds. If I hadn't noticed your doorbell was disabled. But you did notice. That's what matters. I should have noticed him entering the building. I should have questioned that keycard story. Marcus, you can't catch everything. There are cameras all over that building, residents and visitors coming and going constantly. You can't watch them all every second. That's my job, though. To watch. To protect. And you did. When it mattered most, you were watching. You saw something wrong, and you trusted your instincts. You called me instead of assuming it was nothing. You saved my life. He rubbed his eyes. I've been doing this job for 15 years. I've dealt with noise complaints, package theft, drunk residents who can't find their apartments. But this? I've never had to stop something like this before. You trusted your gut. That's what made the difference. The trial took 7 months. I had to testify about my interactions with Kyle, about finding my apartment disturbed, about the fear I'd felt when Marcus called me. Kyle's defense attorney tried to claim it was a misunderstanding, that Kyle just wanted to talk to me, that the zip ties and duct tape were for another purpose. But the evidence was overwhelming. The security footage. The items he was carrying. His history of stalking other women. The prosecutor painted a clear picture of a predator who'd become obsessed with his nurse and planned a violent crime. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Kyle Hendricks was sentenced to 12 years in prison. The judge called him a clear danger to women and noted that only the vigilance of a security guard prevented a violent crime. After the sentencing, Detective Chen found me in the courthouse hallway. "You did great up there. I know testifying is hard. It had to be done. I couldn't let him hurt someone else. He won't get the chance. 12 years is a long time." She paused. "Ms. Brooks, I want you to know, what Marcus did that night, trusting his instincts and calling you, that's rare. A lot of security guards wouldn't have noticed. Or they'd have noticed and assumed it was nothing. He went out on a limb, potentially looking paranoid or overreacting. But he did it anyway because he thought you might be in danger. I know. I owe him everything." A year later, my life has found a new normal. I moved to a different apartment building, smaller, fewer amenities, but with a security system I control completely. I installed multiple cameras, high-quality locks, and a panic button that connects directly to the police. I still work as an ER nurse, still love my job, still work night shifts. But I'm more cautious now. I vary my schedule when possible. I'm aware of my surroundings. I notice when things are out of place, when people are watching, when situations feel wrong. And I stay in touch with Marcus. He left the Paramount 6 months after the incident. The stress of almost missing something so serious had gotten to him. He now works as a security consultant, training other guards on threat recognition and crisis intervention. He tells my story in his trainings, emphasizing the importance of trusting your instincts and acting even when you're not certain. People ask me how I knew something was wrong, he told me during one of our coffee meetups. The truth is, I didn't know for certain. But I saw something that didn't fit the pattern, a disabled camera, a person who entered the stairwell and didn't leave. Those were small things. Easy to dismiss. But I couldn't shake the feeling that they meant something. Thank God you didn't dismiss them. I almost did. I almost talked myself out of calling you. I thought, what if I'm wrong? What if I scare her for nothing? But then I thought, what if I'm right and I do nothing? That's the question that saved my life. What if I'm right and I do nothing? Marcus chose to act. He chose to risk looking paranoid or overprotective. He chose to call me at 3:30 in the morning and tell me not to come home, even though he knew how tired I'd be, even though he knew I might be angry at him. He chose my safety over his comfort. And that choice meant I'm alive today to tell this story. I'm Natalie Brooks. I'm 30 now. I'm an ER nurse who was stalked by a former patient. I'm a woman who survived because a security guard was paying attention, trusting his instincts, and caring enough to act on them. If this story moved you, subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And if you ever receive a warning that seems strange or inconvenient, a call telling you not to come home, a text telling you to stay away, someone insisting something's wrong even when you can't see it yourself, please listen. Marcus's call at 3:30 a.m. saved my life. His willingness to trust his gut, to speak up even when he wasn't certain, to prioritize my safety over everything else, those choices made the difference between me coming home to a predator waiting in my stairwell and me staying safe in my car until police could intervene. Trust the people who try to protect you. Trust the warnings that feel urgent even when the danger isn't visible. Trust your own instincts when something feels wrong. And if you're ever in a position like Marcus was, if you see something that doesn't fit, that feels off, that raises alarms even if you can't articulate why, speak up. Call. Warn. Act. You might save a life. Marcus saved mine.